Today we're going to look at rounding decimals to any place. And when it says any place, that means any place value. So our problem here, number one, round to the nearest hundredth. Well, we need to figure out which is the nearest hundredth. I know my tens, my ones, my decimal. Then I have my tenths and my hundredths and my thousandths. So the 9 would be the digit in the hundredth place, and notice it's a hundredth place, so that's the 9. And so I am going to underline this digit. In fact, I'm just going to write the whole number again, a little bit bigger so that I've got some room to work. I don't like to have my numbers, my digits that close together. So I'm going to underline the 9 because we want to round it to the nearest hundredth. Then I'm going to circle the digit next to it, because this is the digit that lets me know whether I'm going to round up or whether I'm going to round down. Now our rule is, and this is no matter whether we're rounding whole numbers or decimals, if this number that we've circled, which is to the right of the place that we're rounding to, and that principle holds true for whole numbers and for decimals, if this digit is 5 or more, we round up. If it's 4 or less, we round down. Let me say that again. If this digit is 5 or more, we round up. If it's less than 5, we round down. Well, 8 is greater than 5, so we're going to round up. Oh, but look, this is a 9. How are we going to round up? Well, we do just the same thing that we do if we were rounding, say if we were rounding 198 and we were rounding it to the nearest 10. We would be rounding between 190 and 200 because the next 10 after 190 is 200. So if we're rounding up, the 19 becomes a 20. So our answer would be 65.20. And if we were rounding whole numbers, we would put a 0 here. Because it's after the decimal point, we don't have to. We can simply write 65.2. Well, it does say hundredth. So let's go ahead and write it. Let's write the 0. So now we have 65 and 20 hundredths. So this is rounded to the nearest hundredths. To recap our steps, we underline the place value that we're rounding to. We circle the digit to the right. If that digit is 5 or more, this number is rounded up. In this case, 9, we can't round it anymore. The next 10 after 19 is 20, so the 19 hundredths becomes 20 hundredths. If this number is less than 5, we would have rounded down, and our number would have stayed as 19. Let's try the next problem. Number 2. What number, when rounded to the nearest 1,000, rounds to 4,000? Okay, so we're rounding to the nearest 1,000. Oh, there aren't any decimals in here. So which number, when rounded to the nearest 1,000, rounds to 4,000? Well, right off, I can take off 14,000 because there's no way that 14,000 is to the nearest 1,000 is going to be 4,000. 14,000 is very far from 4,000. I'm going to have to see what these numbers would round to. Okay, 4,917. What thousand would that round to? Well, 4,917 is between 4,000 and 5,000. It's somewhere between this range. I'm going to underline my 4 because we're rounding to the nearest 1,000, and I'm going to look at the digit to the right. If this number is greater than 5, if this digit is greater than 5, we round this up. So 4,917 would round to 5,000. Okay, so it's not A. Let's look at we already know 14,000 to the nearest thousand is not going to be 4,000. It would be 14,000 to the nearest thousand. Okay, so C, we've got 4,329. Again, the number's going to be between 4,000 and 5,000. Those are our two choices of what it would round to. We underline the 4, we circle the 3. Is the 3 greater than 5? No, it's not. It's less than 5, so we would round 4,329 down to 4,000. So it's looking like this one's going to be the answer, but I do have one left, and so I want to check it because I don't like to guess. So I'm going to give myself a little bit more room and write this one down here. Again, if we're rounding it to the nearest thousand, which would it be? I underline the 4. I circle the 5. I ask myself, is this digit that I've circled, is it 5 or more? Well, yes, it is. So that means this would round up to 5,000. So there's only one of these answers that's correct. The number when rounded to the nearest thousand round to 4,000 would be C, 4,329. Okay, thank you for joining me.